my 1960s Ludwig Hollywood in sparkling blue. It's actually an orphan kit. It's mostly 1967, with the exception of the bass drum. You can see those curved spurs. The bass drum actually does have a 67 badge on it, which I have had lying around in my junk pile for years and years and years, and then I got this bass drum, so you can also see it's natural maple inside the bass drum there. But the rest of the kit is all white, but it's mine, and it's noticeably a mixed match kit. I think the lights are actually doing it good right now. We got an 8x12 with the small lugs, a 9x13 with the large lugs, 16x16 large lug. Those three are 1967 with dates inside and serial number appropriate. The 14x22 has the 67 badge, like I said, but the inside and no date stamp. Looks like it was pretty clean inside, so natural maple. Large lugs also, but all these drums are original sparkling blue. And then the snare drum, classic 5x14, with the classic throw off. I think that's the 87 if I'm not mistaken, but it has just the normal butt. So we've got baseball bat mufflers in white on the snare, both toms, and on the floor tom as well. I'm using the iPad instead of the phone. You can see the natural maple inside the bass drum there. The only drum head that I have that's not coated white. Like I said, all the toms are painted white inside, as is the snare. The bass drum is natural maple, which sometimes happens, sometimes it doesn't. I've had a lot of drum sets with the white painted bass drum. With the curved spurs, the fact that it looked like it originally had a keystone on it, I'm probably saying 69 for the year with curved spurs. I've heard of them being 70s with the curved spurs and the keystone badge, and I think 68 might have still had the gold wings. With Ludwig, anything's possible. My bass drum mounted tom holder is much later, 70s, but it gets the job done. The 67 version would have been the big stamp plate like on Ringo's rooftop kit, with the Ludwig in the oval stamped on it, which is notorious for cracking, and it's not all that adjustable. You can see that I have these toms set back from the center position. I am not a fan of the way these set up. If you set them out from the center mount, you get a little bit more room. See if I can position this so you can see. You can see it's actually hanging over the bass drum on this side. But they're not. They can hit, but they're not hitting. But yeah, they usually have to have that big gap in the middle. You can see I put the remote logos on the Emperors out towards the badges, and so the badges are all the way to the side. And on the 16x16, it's got a Don Worth drum studio or drum shop sticker on that floor tom. I actually traded this floor tom to a guy in the Central Coast area. We met at Bentley's, and I traded, and you guys are gonna probably gasp, I traded a 61 5.5 by 14 blue sparkle snare drum with the classic throw off. So everybody's like, it's a Buddy Rich. It was in really bad shape. Had a lot of missing chrome on the chrome over brass hoops, and was missing that throw off lever, so I replaced that. But I really wanted the extra snare drum wasn't going to do me any good, because I found this little 5x14 at a pawn shop for $100 in a drum case, and Um, it looked like somebody got it for Christmas or got it when they joined band and just left it in there. So that I was like, and it's 67, so it matched the other drums. This whole kit started with this 13 tom. I saw it on eBay in the infants, well, not longer than 10 years ago, but I bought this tom on eBay and didn't realize that it was a right side tom for a Hollywood or big beat kit. So I get it, just didn't really pay attention to it. I think it was after it was shipping, I was doing some looking up of stuff, and then I realized, wait a minute, that the tom mount is on the wrong side, and I was like, oh, I could just flip the badge, and then it's got a baseball bat. So so I kept it, and no big deal. I was like, maybe it's on the lefty kit, which it wasn't. Found an 8x12 later on with some of the worst snare rash I've ever seen, but I don't care. This is a player. You can see they even tried to touch it up with paint because it got into the white. So this is all chrome over steel. I think the floor tom has some replacement tension rods. It's got the original floor tom legs. And you know, it's just kind of a orphan basket case kit, but it makes me not afraid to beat it up. And I pretty much brought something back to life that was destroyed during the era of the infancy of eBay. My hoops, there's a lot of little things I need to fix up on it, but like the front hoop, the blue, I need to get some more. It ends right about here. On the back one, it ends right there. You know, I actually play these kits out in a band. I'm in a surf rock band, and so I use the flat bass hardware. So these curved spurs are way better for live use. The gull wings, it's like a balancing act, especially if you're playing like a downbeat or a super classic with the one tom and the ride on the bass drum mount, because I do use the ride on the bass drum mount for a lot of shows. You'll notice it's sitting with the 1124, the second version of it. I'm not sure of the exact designation, but it's the lower bass hi-hat stand, but not the Ringo flat bass style. That's what technically makes it a Hollywood and not a big beat, I guess. If you put the later snare drum stand that's not the flat bass and the A-frame hi-hat stand, I can't remember the designation right now, then it's a big beat. Got the, I think those are the 1400 cymbal stands, and 3 of them, and it's sitting with my pasty Peist. Everybody's gonna argue about it. I say pasty, whatever. I have an accent, whatever. PST 7s, and I bought I don't know if I've reviewed these yet, but I bought just the hi-hats, 16 crash and 20-inch ride as a pack at a local place called The Cave that does, like, it's almost like a swap meet pawn shop type place. But at any rate, I bought that pack of cymbals. They're on a deal. They've been sitting there forever. And I actually really like the way these sounded. Sometimes I'll buy inexpensive cymbals to move another kit that I have, because I was trying to get rid of a lot of my other lower end drums, because sometimes I'll buy project kits and then realize that I don't need to do that. But at any rate, I liked them so much I went and bought the 18 new at retail. And I've recorded 2 albums with these cymbals, which it makes me laugh when I say it. I have 2002s in red label, black label. I have a plethora of A-Zildjians from all different eras. I don't need to record with these, and there's cymbals that should work better. I've got an old K crash. I've got a lot of stuff, but for some reason these sound like a record, and that's that 2002 thing where they're super consistent, you know. I should say the sheet metal bronze, but they just sound like they should, and they sound great together. So I'm gonna pop this in the stand. By the way, this kit is maple, poplar, maple from what I can tell on all of the drums. So it's supposed to be a little bit brighter, but they still have that thuddy Ludwig sound. It's been really hot here the past couple of days, so the drums were kind of dead, so I tuned them up a little. What else can I say? I got the tom mounts facing inward, which I think was spec for the day, away from the audience. Meaning the bolts. I still have never had one of those wrenches. I have a lot of Ludwig kits. I've got a downbeat super classic. I've had a deluxe classic, this kit. I have another downbeat in the works. There's an 8x12. That's a right side 8x12, by the way. So this, you know, that I guess I could have made a backwards kit with it, but and then I have a 14x14 hiding somewhere. I'm not sure where. There's another bass drum shell that I bought a while ago, thinking that I was going to rewrap it and put it with this kit. And then, of course, as soon as I ordered that bass drum shell with no hardware and the, what is that, a pointy badge? Yeah, it's a pointy badge in white. This thing shows up, and I snagged it. I never find these. They were always conversions from consolettes and everything like that. I know I'm rambling on, but that's kind of my brand. So along with the handheld stuff and no editing. So yeah, I've had a couple complaints about it. Don't watch my videos. And if you do want to hear about a bunch of ramblings about old drums, because that's what most people don't do, they just sit there and play them. I will play these too, but that's my brand. I may start editing the videos, but I like trying to go through and get these in one shot reel. So anyway, I'm gonna put this guy up in my little mic stand. Sneak peek of another kit that I might be featuring. Oh, I have a lot of drums that I have not reviewed. So at any rate, let's get you a listen on here. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit more. Position. You have to listen to my voice through all this. I'm also using a Speed King with the kit, obviously. I'm sure there's a bunch of things I didn't remember. You can always comment or ask. That's the drum kit's sitting with coated Emperors on top. They're actually pretty old. I bought some of these heads back when I got these drums. I had set it up a bunch of times, even as a little fake breakbeats kit, to actually play it, because I wasn't getting the gratification of playing this kit after buying most of the drums and trading for them and all that stuff. So this is a long time coming. I've played this kit out once. I'm probably gonna do it again. The band I'm in, I usually play, I try to get through all of my drum sets. So I've played maybe the same drum set two or three times in the whole time that the band's been together playing shows. It's not like we play a ton of shows, but at any rate, I'll give you a listen, see what you think. Okay. I'm gonna first up the 5x14 classic. This is with the mute off. With the mute. 8x12. 9x13. Uh, 16x16. Little baggy there. Maybe I'll mute that one out. 14x22. That's a Emperor clear on the back with a Fallum's impact patch, felt on front and back. Factory Ludwig front head that somebody ported before. Somebody ported it before I ever got it, and they ported it high. I peeled the sticker and put a new one on it. So I like smooth white heads. They're not very common, and I don't like ordering heads. It's one of those things I still like to go into stores and physically pick out heads. The local music store Skips used to always let you go into, they had a little room that was just drum heads, and it's my absolute favorite thing, going through what they got and thinking of what kits I have and trying to match up the heads and what they do and don't have and stuff like that. It's just one of those random things. Ordering, by the time I get to the checkout and I realize that I'm spending $150, $200 on drum heads, I'm over it and I end up not buying them. Yeah. I can go through the cymbals. The 14-inch. I think this is the medium set. The original 3 or 4-piece cymbal set did not say medium or anything, so I think it's a little bit earlier. The paint looks a little darker. This one is a little bit newer, but I think they do medium, rock, and light sets. But I think this is the standard set. Maybe it's the light, but I think it's the standard. On its lonesome, it sounds a little bongy, but I don't know, maybe it's because of the style of music that I've been playing. It sounds really good. Case in point, too, I beat the crap out of these when I play them at shows because I'm not worried about breaking a vintage cymbal. I can go right to Guitar Center or a local shop and buy one of these if I had to, like this one. That was the 16, that was the 18, by the way. 20-inch ride. Since I've been playing a lot of surf, my hands have gotten better at it, and I've been a little lacking on some of the other metal stuff that I normally do. So I'll play more of a surf type thing anyway. I do tune lower, and that's why I like Emperors. But this kit has everything that I need. The only downside is I got short legs, and so having those toms like that and pushing the bass drum further away, I feel like I'm pushing into it, and it kind of, I don't know, just feels funny. Of the two toms up as a kid and into my teens and 20s. I hated this configuration. That always felt too far away. I like the ride right here, but in retrospect, one of the things that's been happening is I've been having to do a lot of playing between the two toms while I'm on the ride, and so I kept on getting into this thing where I was either having to lift. And in the surf songs, that's cheating. If you're going playing, what is that? Linear. When guys are going. So I don't like to lift. I like that to be consistent. I should be hitting that every time the bass player's hitting that, you know, ding, 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 ding. A lot of songs I end up doing the bass drum along with that. It's gonna be hard on this kit because it's so far away, but I do that. So yeah, that's with that going underneath, I do like to be able to. Let me try. Instead of having to go. Easier to stay up here, or since the ride's over here, do that. But I can't put the ride, I don't like putting the ride over here when there's no tom here. That's super weird to me. I've seen a couple people do it playing shows and it just freaks me out, especially since I use the bass drum mounted rides a lot. So being able to get into that tom thing is nice to be able to go. Playing the ride up there. I think Simon Phillips used to do that, but I think he taught himself how to play open-handed, which I've just basically being tired of being crossed up, I just stay on the ride. It suits most of the songs I play better anyway. I did try an X-hat, but it's just extra crap. Most shows I have these huge kits, and most of them I end up playing a 4 or 5 piece set. Most of the time 4.